Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to day 3 of Ignite. I hope you are having a great conference so far, a couple more days to go, and I hope you continue to get the most out of it that you can. We're really excited to be here talking to you today about the Office apps. We have a few new apps that we've been building, all called Office, with some slight differences between them, but a really good story that kind of connects each of those together. My name is Bill. I'm up here with Kevin and Nithya. Nithya leads the engineering team that built the Office mobile app that was just released this week. Kevin leads engineering for Office app on Windows and the web, and I do product marketing for both of those things. So get to cover all of that. We're really excited to talk to you about it this week too. I know there's been a lot of attention on the Office mobile app. We just introduced it to the world on Monday, and we're really thrilled. It's been off to a really successful start so far. But really, the story is much more than that. And so it's really about how we unite these experiences across both the mobile, web, and desktop. And we really hope that you come away today with a feeling of not only what these apps can do and how you can get more work done with them and people within your organization, but also what the story is that unites them, and also a vision for how we think people are going to stay organized and work as they go forward. So as we really thought about the genesis of this, of kind of where things started, it really kind of came from a very basic question. What is Office? And Office has been around for a few decades. It's, I think most people would say it's generally an indispensable part of how people work. And so, but the thing is, if you ask a random sampling of people, I think you find it's not such a straightforward of an answer as you might expect. So when we ask people this question, I think the first 3 things that people would say is Office is Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And those are 3 of the core apps that people generally really love and depend on every day for their work. And that's a great answer, and some people would stop there. But then you push on it a little bit more, and some people are like, no, there's more to it. And they'll probably point out things like Outlook, OneNote, and OneDrive. And that's right, too. That's great. But then you double click a little bit more, and really there's more to it, and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of other apps and capabilities that are out there. And there's probably not that many people that really understand the broader picture of everything that Office can do. And so this kind of presents a unique challenge for us in how we think about things. And so, so really what it came down to is how do we find a way to help people get the most value out of Office so that they can do their best work and really make them able to achieve more every day. Not only that, how do we make it easy to access and use? It's not just about knowing what's there, it's about making it easy to use. And then the other thing too is how do we present it in the right context for a given situation? So as we started to frame up the challenge here and how we're going to look at this, we really thought about first, like, where is it used? And there are some really key differences based on the type of device. So whether you're using Office on a Windows platform, on Mac, or in the browser on the web, it's really about the computer form factor. And then there's certain needs and that people really unites the kind of work that they're doing. They tend to use a wider variety of apps and features. They're doing a little bit more sophisticated work, so they're going a little bit deeper into those apps. And they're really relying on the types of capabilities that come along with a big screen as well as a keyboard and a mouse. On the mobile side, with phones and tablets, it's really a little bit different. They're usually doing some somewhat simpler tasks. It's really more about some of the frequency and the ease of access to certain apps and features that they tend to go to more directly for unique situations, as well as really the mobile-centric inputs, and that kind of changes the way they work with it. So this kind of helped us figure out how we needed to put together our solution to this original challenge, which is the Office apps. And there's some slight differences between them depending on how you do it between a computer and a mobile device. So on the computer side, we have the Office app for Windows 10, which is now pre-installed on all Windows machines. It came earlier this year as an update to the My Office app, so there's a lot of people, probably most people in this room may even have it on their device already. Not everybody always realizes this, but check in the search bar and you may find it. As well as Office.com, which we've kind of grouped in here as well. We have one screenshot for the 2 of them because they're pretty much the same experience. experience, just for different ways that you interface with it. But really, this experience is designed to help people find the apps they need, understand them a little bit better, and compile and organize all of your files and information so that you can get into your work quickly, to kind of make it efficient for you to get into Office. On the mobile device side, we still have the same initial goal of trying to create a more organized and efficient experience, but it's a little bit different in the sense that we centered this really more around the core apps of Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, combining them into one and making this a more integrated experience. We also added some new capabilities that focused on mobile content creation, so taking to some of the unique needs of the device inputs and really changing the phone from being somewhat of a liability in a lot of people's minds for content creation and doing real work on your phone into an asset and making it a really effective and useful tool for that. At the same time, we've also figured it's a good place to really incorporate a few more actions that help people achieve different common mobile tasks. And so, again, we're really about trying to make this a great experience and pulling it all together as one. But we really think that the best way for everybody to get a feel for what this is and what it can do is to actually see it in action. So we're going to walk through a few demos that hopefully you can relate to and see some of the different experiences that really unite this all. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, and he's going to start us off talking about Office for the Windows and mobile devices.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bill. Hey, everyone. My name is Kevin. Really excited to be here. The reason I'm excited to be here is I get to show you an experience that has personally made me a lot more productive. This experience is also going to help you become a lot more productive and also make your organization a lot more productive. Before I kick off, I just wanted to just kind of ask the audience, see a show of hands, how many people here have used one of the Office apps before? So whether it's on desktop, whether it's Office.com, whether it's Office for mobile. Oh, fantastic, lots of hands. I could probably just bring one of you up here and you could talk about some of the benefits that you're seeing already. Anyone want to take? Today, I'm going to start off by just sharing just some awkward news, but I am actually, so I work at Microsoft, but I'm actually leaving Microsoft. My manager's here in the audience. It's a little awkward. I'm moving to Contoso Electronics. If you've been to Microsoft events before, this is a fictitious company that we talk about. And actually, Contoso Electronics, we are launching a new drone. It is called the Mark 8 drone. I don't know about you, but on my bucket list, I've always wanted to work on a drone launch. So I'm excited to be able to do that. Now, if any of you have worked on a launch before, you probably know that there's a ton of work involved in launching a product. You have marketing collateral that you have to pull together. We have a press release that we have to pull together. We also have support scripts that we have to pull together. So there's just a ton of content that we have to pull together. And now that I'm working at Contoso Electronics, well, the good thing is I have this Microsoft connection, so I've been able to use the Office app to help me with my work over time. And I don't know, I don't think I would have been able to do all this work if I didn't have the Office app. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the Office app here. Let me just pull it up on the screen. And so one of the first questions you might have is, so here I am on my desktop, how do you even launch the Office app and how do you get to it? Well, the good thing is I brought my keyboard here. This is a brand new keyboard that came out on October 15th. It's a Bluetooth keyboard. There's also an ergonomic keyboard that came out. And the really cool thing about this is there's a new key on the keyboard. This is the Office key, and all I have to do is press that key and boom, I get the Office app experience right there on the screen. So just one click away. And what's cool too is what I could do is if I press the Office key with P, that'll launch PowerPoint. Office key with W, that'll launch Word. Office key with X, that'll launch Excel. You get the idea. You can launch all these different experiences just using your keyboard. So pretty cool. It became available on October 15th. If you're interested, you could pick up one of these keyboards. But I'm sure a lot of you don't have a keyboard. So how do you launch the app if you don't have a keyboard? So what you could do is, I'm going to pull up the Start menu here. You could just type in Office. And on Windows, the best match that'll come up is the Office app. This app comes pre-installed as part of Windows 10. So if you're on a current version of Windows 10, you have access to this app. Your organization has access to this app. So pretty easy to get to. Let's say that you're on an older version of Windows. Maybe you're on a Chromebook. Maybe you have a Mac machine. How do you get to the Office experience? Well, what you could do too is, here I'm going to open a browser. You could just navigate to office.com. Talking to a lot of people at this conference, one of the things I've heard, a lot of people refer to it as the portal, but the portal, office.com, it's the same thing. So just navigate to office.com. You can get to this experience. So I'm going to jump back into the Office app. And at the beginning, I said that the thing that I love about the Office app experience is it's made me a lot more productive. So let me show you how it's actually made me a lot more productive. So the first thing that I like when I come into this experience, you'll see up in the top left-hand corner, so I work for Contoso Electronics, and I know that I'm in kind of an experience provided by my organization. I see my logo in the top left-hand corner. If I click on that, that'll take me to our intranet site. So it's just one click away to get to my intranet site. They're really nicely melded together. You'll also see branding on the page. So it just has a look and feel of my organization. So I have confidence that I'm in the right place. Now, one of the other things, and this is by far one of my favorite scenarios on this page, and I think you'll like this too, but one of the things that I struggle with a lot is getting back to content. You might have a document you're working on and you're trying to get back to it, and maybe you don't remember where you saved it. Is it in OneDrive? Is it in SharePoint? Where's that file? The nice thing is I just clicked into the search box, and you see this experience appeared. And what you could do is you could search for apps, you could search for files, you could also search for people, and you could search for sites. So Contoso Electronics, I'm working with this guy Nestor. We're working on a file. I don't quite remember where it is. And what's nice is I could just type in his name. So I'm going to type in Nestor. He pops up in my search. I'm going to click on his name. And what you'll see is this kind of people experience appears. It has all this information about Nestor. So here I could see kind of an overview, all his contact information, his organization. So I could click through if I want to get kind of a deeper look. But what's nice is I could click on files here. And so I'm working on a marketing campaign with Nestor. And so what I'll see is these are all the files that Nestor's working on that I also have access to. And so I'll scroll down this list here. And so here's the file that we're working on, this Mark 8 marketing campaign. So just by searching for his name, I can see all the files that he's working on. And it's a very, very efficient way to get back to content. So this is something I love, really just awesome way to get back to content. So I'm going to jump back, and one of the things I want to show, so right now I'm in the Office app. I want to show how the Office.com experience works as well. So I'm going to jump over to Office.com. And so one of the things that was kind of interesting, Nithya and I were talking right before the presentation, and Nithya asked me, she said, hey, Kevin, we're working on this drone launch. Can you pull together an elevator pitch for me? And so, a little awkward doing that right before the presentation, but you know what, might as well kill two birds with one stone, and I'll just do that during the presentation here. Just try to knock out two things. And so one of the problems is, I've done this for Nithya before, and one of the problems is, we have to use our branding. We need to use the right logo. We need to use the right fonts. We need to use the right colors. And, one thing, kind of my bad, but when I create these presentations, Contoso Electronics, we recently changed our logo, and so, I usually go back, use an old deck, and pull the old logo in, so, the presentation doesn't really reflect our brand properly. Luckily, what I could do is, so I'm going to click on this Create button. This is really awesome, and this saves the day for me. But here, what I see is, right now, I see your Contoso templates. So my organization's templates show up prominently within this experience. And as I scroll down, what my admin has done is, my admin has actually chosen a few templates to feature within this experience. And here I see the Mark 8 elevator pitch template. So I could just go ahead and click on that. And what will happen now is it'll create a new PowerPoint presentation using our most recent branding. So the nice thing here is, Nithya asked me to pull this together, and now I have the right logo, I have the right fonts, I have the right colors. My messaging, when I show this to external people, it's going to be all on point. And, so the way this works is if you're an admin, what you could do is you could go into SharePoint, you could create what's called an asset repository, and then you could go in and you could add any number of templates in there. You could update them whenever you want. And then those templates show up on the Office.com experience. So if I go to Office.com, they show up within this Create experience, but not only there, they also show up in the Word, Excel, PowerPoint start pages, and not just on the web. So if you're using Windows, if you're using Mac, whatever platform you happen to be using, you can now provide all of your employees with organizational templates that match your branding, the look and feel of your organization. So this is really fantastic. So now anytime I create content, I'm going to make sure that I'm on brand. So this is just coming out, and this is something that you could start taking advantage of shortly. Now, beyond org templates, one of the things that I need quick access to, so here I am working at Contoso. One of the nice things is, here I'm looking down at all my apps. I have very quick access to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the apps that I'm using on a daily basis. I have quick access to that within the Office app. One of the things you'll notice, you probably don't recognize the name of the landing. This is not your typical Microsoft app. This is actually, for Contoso Electronics, this is our intranet site that's featured on this main page. And so what's happened is my admin has gone in, and the admin added this as kind of an additional option for me. And so if I click on that, that'll take me to the intranet portal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on all apps and show what that experience looks like. So here, I see all my different, Bill was talking about this. We have all these different Office 365 apps. Here you can see what they all are. There's information about what they do. So, back up if your users are trying to figure out, hey, what app do I use when? Well, here you can see what they're for, what they do, and so it gives a little bit of information about them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down the page, and this is also brand new, something that we're just releasing. But you'll see under Contoso, these are all my organization's apps. So I have a whole bunch of just Contoso apps. It looks like someone wants to join our presentation and listen in. I also, when I go down here, we have all of our sales and marketing apps. I have all my productivity apps. And then I just have a kind of a general list of all my different apps. And so what's nice is my admin can go in and customize this experience. So they could add different apps to this experience. They could group the apps by sales and marketing or maybe design apps. So it's a very efficient way for me to get back to apps that I have in my organization, and they're all nicely categorized for me. So as an admin, what you could do is just go in, group the apps, and easy access for your employees. So this is also a very nice experience, helps me get back to what tools I need to get the job done. Now, have people here used recommended before? So one of the things with this launch coming up at Contoso Electronics, it's extremely busy. I get emails, I get Teams messages, I have documents with @mentions. There's all this content kind of going all around. And one thing that I have difficulty with is it's tough staying on top of all of it because there's all this content going on. The nice thing about Recommended is, what Recommended is doing is it looks at all this content around me, and it looks at all the activity that's happening with these documents, and then it surfaces what's most important to me. So here you'll see, I'll hover over the first one. Here, Adele shared a file with me. Adele actually shared 2 files with me. Nestor shared a file. Here, Lee commented on a file. So what Recommended does is when someone, let's say, @mentions me, well, that's pretty important. I should look at that. And so that's pretty important. So it'll push it to the front. If someone leaves a comment in a document that I'm working on, that file will also be shown prominently within this experience. And so it helps me stay on top of what's important. Let's say someone @mentioned me 2 weeks ago. It's not as important anymore, so it kind of starts dropping off. So Recommended looks at all these different signals, and it prioritizes what's most important. And up to this point, what we've always done is if you've used Recommended before, Recommended shows Word, Excel, PowerPoint files and activity happening in them. But one of the things that we're announcing here at Ignite is we're actually going to broaden that, and we're going to start showing more content, because we know that people don't just work in Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You're working in other places too. And so one of the things we're doing is if your organization publishes company news, and let's say everyone on your team has read that company news except for you, well, maybe we should surface that because that's pretty important. So we'll show that as part of this result set. Or maybe there's a video that your organization has that's also everyone's watched the video, maybe you missed it. So we'll surface that up here too. And so kind of the main message is, we have company news, we have streamed videos, we have documents. More and more content types that you work on are going to start showing up in this Recommended section, so you can truly stay on top of what's important. So this will just bubble up the most important thing for you within the Recommended section. So something that I've found extremely valuable as I've used this experience. So I'm going to scroll down a little farther. One of the things, this is kind of your more traditional list of all your documents. Here I could see just a list of all the documents that I've touched over time. I also have other views where I could pin content, I could see content that's been shared with me, I could also discover documents that are trending in my organization. I could see all that right within this view. And if I expand this, I'll also see, just like in the Recommended section, here I could see any document that I've touched, I could see that other people have touched that as well. So here, I see that there was a comment on a document, there was an @mention on a document. The really nice thing is this helps me stay on top of what's happening within my organization. So really nice. And one thing I want to do here is, so I have this marketing campaign, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on that. What you'll notice is the document came up pretty quickly here. And so what we're doing is we're hosting this experience within office.com. And so what does that mean? Like, why does that matter? Well, we're hosting this experience in office.com, and what that does is we're able to load this experience very, very quickly, where it just pops up almost immediately. And I don't know about you, but anytime I load apps and it takes a long time to load things, I just start daydreaming. I'll get off task because, hey, it's just taking a long time. But here it just keeps you focused because things pop up right away. But so all of this is hosted just right in the experience. A few other things that we have down here too, with Office 365, you end up with a lot of SharePoint sites, a lot of different places that you have to navigate to. And I don't know about you, but I never remember SharePoint site URLs or how to get to SharePoint sites. The nice thing is I don't have to, and you don't have to either. What you can do is here, we just surface your frequent sites right here within the experience. So it's very easy to get back to the SharePoint sites that matter to you. Same with different OneDrive places. What I want to also show here is, so here when I look at my recent document list, you'll see there are a lot of PowerPoint presentations. Well, if I want to filter this experience, so let's say I just want to see Word documents, I'll click on the Word app, and here the start page just pops right up. Did you notice that speed when I clicked on it? Just immediately just pops right up. I'll click on Excel, there too, just pops right up. And here when I click on PowerPoint, it just pops right up as well. And so I could filter the content down to what matters for me just by clicking on those. And we've made quite a few investments in Service Worker, and so what we do is we cache the content pretty heavily on these pages, and that helps us get super quick and fast performance when you navigate throughout this experience. So that's been really nice. And one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this Word tile. So kind of see this page. Here you have new, you have your templates, you have your recommendations. I have a few documents here. I'm going to click on Word on the desktop. You get the same experience here. Here I have a blank document. I have a few templates. I have my recommendations. I have my recent documents. So whether you're using the web, whether you're using desktop, or if you're on Mac, regardless of what the experience is, you'll get a similar experience regardless of which platform you decide to use. And the more and more feature parity is coming to those experiences. So regardless of which one you use, you'll have that similar experience using this. So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to give kind of a quick preview of how the Office.com, the Office app on Windows 10 experience has helped make me a lot more productive. And so what I want to do now, so I tend to work at my desk a lot more, and so I sit at the desk, and that's where I do my work. But Nithya here, she's always on the go. She's moving around a lot, and so she uses the Office app for mobile experience. And what she's going to do now is she's going to show how that experience has helped her become more productive.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Kevin. Hello, everyone. I'm Nithya, and Kevin is a good friend of mine, and he's convinced me to follow him to Contoso to work on the drone launch, and so that's what I'm doing today. And like Kevin said, I'm mostly on the go, meeting customers, meeting our vendor team who's working on a launch. So, but not to worry, I have my mobile phone right with me, which is going to help me stay productive. Let me just switch to my phone here. Yeah. So this is the new Office app on my iPhone that we just announced on Monday. This is the full-fledged app. So it has all the capabilities of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all in a single app. It is available both for Android and iOS. And it's a free app, so anybody can just go download the app and just get going. Like Kevin mentioned about recommended, I do have recommended showing up right here in the top of my home screen. This is a great way for me to stay connected to what's happening at the workplace, even when I'm on the go. As an example, we had the Satya keynote on Monday. I was really busy working on my launch, so I couldn't attend it. So when that gets published to my company website, it's going to start showing up here. And on my long ride way to work, in my shuttle, I can actually just listen in and catch up on the keynote. This also shows me all the recent activity on the documents that may be of interesting to me, like somebody has commented and what edits have happened that I can quickly go and look at. As I scroll below, I see all the Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents that I've been working on. So you can see it's a pretty long list. It's one list with easy access to get to the right document for me. And to show you that it's full capabilities, I'm going to just open one of my Word files. As you can see, it opened pretty fast. So we have logic built in to prefetch your most commonly used files, so that file open is just super performant for the files that you work with often. We have also introduced what we call a mobile view to make reading very easy. So as you can see now, you can actually easily read your document without having to zoom in, zoom out. If you remember earlier, it used to actually open in a print layout. So this is how it used to be. Kind of difficult to read. It's good for printing purpose, but if you just want to read the document on the mobile, makes it slightly difficult. So the mobile view actually helps you to actually consume and read it very easily. It's a full-fledged app, so whatever you used to do with your individual Word, Excel, PowerPoint apps, you can do here. Just an example, here I can actually see all the comments that are there in the document, and if I want, I can just go ahead and add mention. any of my colleagues and add a comment. This is fantastic. So Megan looks like does not have permissions to the document. So it actually recognizes that she does not have permissions. It says, do you want to share and notify her? So no more of those sending those documents to others and they clicking and finding out they don't have permissions. So the other thing that we have done along with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint is bring together mobile content capabilities into the app. So have you ever been working on, like, you might be walking around the conference and saying, hey, this looks like an interesting picture or an interesting note that I just want to capture, right? That's what I've been doing here. If you see the media tab here, these are all the pictures that I've been taking to keep track of my work here. Earlier, I used to just use the phone's camera to take photos. But then what I realized once I got the Office app is I really don't want my personal photos, like the pictures of my kids and my family and birthday parties coming up along with the launch photos of Qantas or drones. So I actually now just use the camera right from my Office app to take pictures. And it works beautifully for me because I have a really easy way to just access all the work-related photos and get them. There is a See All right next to the Media tab here. So I click it. I get a more immersive view of all the pictures that I've taken. The other thing that is also useful to me is notes. Often I'm on the go. I have thoughts about what I want to get done for my work or things I want to go accomplish. I can very easily take notes right from this single app. This is the sticky notes capability in this app, and it syncs with the sticky notes that I've taken on my desktop or my laptop. So I can go back to my desktop and access them, and this shows all the notes that I have taken here. So to summarize, it's a single app, brings together Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, sticky notes, and Lens in a single app. Bill talked about how content creation is just so much easier with this new app. I'm going to show you how we made it easy to create actually beautiful looking content very seamlessly and without too much of typing by just using the phone's capabilities. So here, if I tap on plus, I see the ability to actually create notes, Lens, and documents. Tapping on notes, actually, I can just notes from my session. I can just quickly take any notes. So if anybody has any questions right after this, I can use this to note down all the questions. And that starts showing up in my notes. Notes moves up to the top because that's the one that I recently took. I could go ahead and use the Lens capability to capture anything of interest here. So in this case, I have, I think the screen here that's being shown looks interesting to me. So I can just go ahead and capture that. And I could go ahead and annotate right on top of it and say, this looks interesting. And that gets saved to my MRU here. You can see that it starts showing up as the image that's taken. But we've also made it easy not just to take images and notes, but really easy to create Word, Excel, and PowerPoint documents. So I'm going to show you a couple of quick mobile way of creating a document. Let me just get the. So I just found this printout here that talks about a bunch of questions that could be used for Customer Connect. I think this looks really interesting for me, and I think I want to use this. Unfortunately, I don't have a soft copy with me. All I have is a printout here. So I'm going to show you how I'm just going to get a copy of this. I clicked on the scan text, and I'm going to just go ahead and capture this document here. Let's see it in action. There's a lot of wires and stuff for me here to place the, but it did it. There was some shadow and there was some lighting issues here, but you could see that it actually created a Word document for me. It even got all the bulleted points and the bulleting, the formatting. So now I can go ahead and actually start editing it and use it to take notes or modify it and use it for my own needs. So this is I went from a printout to a Word document in less than a few seconds. So I'm going to show you a similar one for Excel. Often when we talk to our users, we find that, like we were talking to one of our users who said, hey, that was a tax consulting firm, and they were like, a lot of times our users come back with printouts of previous year's tax returns, and I actually manually have to go enter all of them, and that's just such a cumbersome job. And so what we've done is, so we thought, how can we make it easier for those, for our users? And so I'm going to show you similarly how from just a printout, I'm going to create a Excel file. So I have a sample table here with some data that I picked up from a magazine. So I'm going to just go ahead and capture that. Let's see, let me try it one more time. See if it recognizes the table here. Okay, yeah, it got the table. So I'm just going to adjust the boundaries, the table, say done. It's processing. All of this is backed by cloud intelligence. So you can see that a beautiful table. It got all the information. Now I can say open in Excel. And here I have a full Excel file with all the data that I can just start working right away. So those are some of the easy content creation capabilities we have introduced, and more is coming. We want to enable creation of content by using voice, so you can actually just talk to your phone and get content going. We want to be able to create beautiful looking PowerPoints by just typing in a bulleted list and using designer service to create it. So all of that is in the roadmap and will be coming soon. The next thing I want to talk to you about is actions. Often, none of us wakes up in the morning and says, I need to write 5 Word documents or write 5 Excel documents, right? It's often some workflow or some action you want to go complete. It's like, I want to see what changes Kevin has made into my documents. Or in my case, I want to go scan these ones and create a file that I can start working with. Something that I have to do at home is, I'm a parent, I have 2 small kids, and we have a WhatsApp group of all the parents of my kids' class, and almost once every week, there's a parent who posts a message saying, my son or daughter lost their science worksheet. Can somebody please just share it with us, right? So just a weekly thing that just happens every often. And for me, productivity at home means being able to take my son's worksheets, scan them, create a nice looking PDF, and share it with the rest of the parents in the WhatsApp group. So I'm going to show you how I get that done by using the Actions tab in my new Office app. So if I click on my actions, you see a lot of actions that we have kind of identified and put it up here. There's one for transfer files, which actually allows you to transfer files from your desktop to your phone right by just scanning a QR code. There's some image-based actions for image to text, image to table. There's a bunch of PDF actions here. I'm going to show you one right away now. So let's do the scan to PDF. So I have actually worksheets, real worksheets. I'm going to start scanning them. So I took one. I want to add a few more. That's it. Those are the 3 worksheets that I had. I clicked on done. Very fast. I have a PDF here. No more of having to scan individual images and sending them like 10 images or 20 images. You can quickly create a PDF, and which I can now share to my WhatsApp group if I wanted. Okay. The next one I'm going to show you is, often at work, I have to sign certain documents to say I'm good with this one, like a bill of materials, or at home, my child's school sends like a field trip authorization form saying I'm good with the child going on the field trip. I need to quickly sign and revert back. Sign a PDF is exactly for those kind of scenarios. So I can click sign a PDF. It actually shows me the the files that I can actually go ahead and choose. In this case, there is a file here that I'm going to just choose a PDF here. I'm going to tap where I need to sign. Actually, there's a saved signature. It just picks up the saved signature. If not, I can just go ahead and create a new signature. And when I say done, as simple as that, I have a PDF created with my signature. One more quick thing I'll show is probably the scan QR code. Let me see if we have a QR code here. Let me just quickly pick up a QR code. I'm actually going to use the QR code for the installing the Office Android app. You may wonder, what's so great about the scanning a QR code? My phone camera has that. But again, one of the problems I often run into is I'm on the go. I see a QR code which is interesting to me. Maybe it's for official work like this one, or maybe it's for a concert that I just want to sign up for. But I don't want to do it right now because I want to go back. In this case, I want to go back when I have better Wi-Fi and then download the app. So how do I do that? So I can just say scan QR code. In this case, so it's scanning the QR code for me. I get options to actually quickly create a note if I wanted to. So it shows me the preview of what this is for. I can click on the middle link to actually go and install it right now. If not, I can actually just create a note for it and change the note to some other color if I want to, and then just be done with it. So that's, again, a quick way of creating the note. So I can just go back to the home and show the note that just got created. You can see that. So I can go back whenever I'm at desk with a good Wi-Fi, I can go download the app. So these are just some of the ways where the new Office app just helps me stay productive on the phone. So it doesn't matter, Kevin has the luxury of a desktop. I just have a phone, but I can get all the work that Kevin gets done just from my phone here. Yeah, thanks.
Great. All right, so very cool stuff. We're really excited about it. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback about it. You don't necessarily need to take all our word for everything. You can listen to some of the other customers that have already been using it. Starting with Office for Windows and the web, we've actually seen really broad adoption already. There's millions of users and thousands of organizations that are currently using this on a daily basis. The ones that are using it have really seen some really good behaviors and improvements within their employees and their users. So those that do use it we found are 2 times more likely to use the cloud and collaborate with others through the cloud. And so it really promotes some of the good behaviors of people that are used to always like, oh, I really want to save everything on my C drive or something like that. Like this really is showing to make a big difference. The other thing too is that these users are now using 2.5 times more Office 365 apps than those that haven't been using it. So you know, thinking back to one of our initial challenges is really how do people get the most value out of Office? This is showing that this is really making a difference and helping us do that. On the phone side, as I said earlier, we just introduced this on Monday, so it's still a little bit early days on this, but already the reaction's been super strong and super positive, both from what we've seen from the press this week, what we've actually seen in social media, as well as what we've seen from some of our alpha testers with some select customers that got to try out the app a couple months ago. And some of the things that they really keep calling out is that they really love the integrated experience, that this really is a difference maker. You know, not only are we just kind of unifying things and making it a little simpler to have everything all in one place, but there's actually some other benefits too. Like it frees up a ton of storage on your phone. The apps are either the same or less than just one of the current apps, and so it actually ends up, you think about not having to install these other apps, it frees up a ton of storage. It's really useful for administrators because they also don't need to push down as many apps to their users, and so they're really excited about that as well. If anything, the thing that we hear most about them is that they also want to see more integration, and so they've called out OneNote and To-Do as some other things. As I said, we're just in the preview right now, so we're taking in tons of feedback. We have a lot of our own ideas about other things that we want to bring to the app, so we're continuing to evaluate this, but there will definitely be more improvements to come along the way. There's a couple customer quotes here as well that we included. The one that I really like the most is the one on the right. This actually came from a call I did with some MVPs a couple weeks ago that had initial preview to it. And one of the things that I heard, and it's actually funny, I've seen this a few times in some of the comments on various blogs and social media as well. They were along these same lines. But it was saying this app solves problems I didn't even realize I had. And for technology, I feel like that's almost like one of the biggest compliments that you can take, in that, you know, these are things that people weren't even thinking about or realizing, but all of a sudden they're saying, wow, there's real value here that I didn't even know I need, and this makes a difference in what we're doing. So what to do next after you leave the room? So for the Office app for Windows and Office.com, again, it's available right now, so I would encourage you to start using it. Get out there, play around with it, see what you can do. Customize it for your org, so incorporate your company branding, really make it your own, making it your tool, not necessarily an Office tool or our tool. By integrating third-party apps and integrating into your other portals too, you can really encourage some of the adoption and getting the benefits of those behaviors that I just mentioned before in the last slide. And the other thing too is, like, we're always looking for feedback. We're always tinkering around. We're always improving things. So, so if you go through the app, like, you'll be able to provide feedback. And believe me, I promise you we read all this stuff. So, so send it our way. For the mobile app, again, download it and try it in preview. Provide feedback. We are in preview days, so we definitely want to do it. But more so, make it your go-to app. You know, we have the Word, Excel, PowerPoint apps out there. Millions of people use them, rely on them, depend on them, generally like them every day. So, so we're not getting rid of those. They're not going away. At the same time, there's nothing that those apps do that the current Office app doesn't do. So, and if anything, it does a little bit more. So, I mean, this really should be your go-to app for productivity. And so I'd encourage you to really test it and you know, dive into the experience and kind of see what it can do. I have a couple of resources down here as well, with a blog post on some more information on the Office app that we released this week, as well as a QR code to download the Android app. It breaks my heart to have this red markup here as well over the iOS app. Apple has a limit for all apps. It's not a us or Microsoft type of thing, of a cap of 10,000 users that can be part of a beta program. Unfortunately, we hit that, unfortunately, we hit that mark in 3 hours when we released it on Monday, so filled up super quickly, and there's a lot of people that are kind of scrambling to figure out what we can do about that, and I don't know that we have good answers, but if you're on Android, please play around. There's no cap there, so that's open, and we are also really encouraged and excited about the feedback, so we're working hard to make sure that we get this in everybody's hands and make it publicly available as soon as we can. So stay tuned, there's more improvements to come, and hopefully we'll have a release for you in the not too distant future. So as always, with each of these sessions, we really would love to hear what you have to think about what you heard today. So please go and submit feedback, and you know, you can also find this session again later on online if you need to take a look at that. So we're happy to take any questions if you have them. Otherwise, we're going to stick around here for another 15, 20 minutes, and you're welcome to come up afterwards if you'd like to talk to us. So thank you.